Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 382. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is Monday, February something, 19th?
19th, it's 19th. President's Day. I had an in-service day today.
Yeah.
Which equals reading all day long.
That's awesome for being a librarian, yeah.
Well, I had some meetings too, and a double baby shower. But
so I was supposed to go to get my fingerprints taken so that I can...
Because you have an unusual job.
Because I work for the gaming industry, the casino industry. And in order to work on systems that are in certain states, you have to be licensed in that state.
Oh, so where are you getting licensed now?
Pennsylvania.
Ooh, when are you going to Pennsylvania?
I'm not.
Oh.
I already have been licensed there. This is a renewal. This is my third renewal. Because they only last 3 years. Just now they're like,
we need your fingerprints?
No. Every time you go, you have to resubmit your fingerprints.
Huh.
And I can almost understand that when they're still using the forms, the paper forms. But like Mississippi, believe it or not, actually uses digital fingerprints.
I have to clock in every day with digital fingerprints.
Your biometric data, yeah. But they want me every time to go back and do it again. I'm like, my fingerprints don't change.
But you could change.
I suppose.
We could burn them off with acid and then they would change.
But I plan to get up early and go to the police department because you can get it done for free at most police departments. Only during certain times. You have to go on their website and find out when.
Huh.
And
this is a little known fact to me.
Yeah, well, I've had to do this several times in several states. So
which police department were you going to?
Well, South Haven, where I live, offers this service for free to its residents for 1 hour on Thursday afternoons. That's it. And
South Haven.
You can go to
that's amazing.
Olive Branch, which is, or it was either Olive Branch or Hernando, I can't remember, one of the two, where you can go if you're not a resident and pay like $10 and they'll do it. Well, I'm sort of on a time crunch, so I was like, fine, I'll just go to, Hernando or Olive Branch. And I get up and get dressed and get out to the car and realize, crap, it's President's Day.
Oh, no one's open. Yeah.
Federal services are probably closed, so I call,
and
yeah, they're closed.
Yeah.
So I was like, crap. So then I go inside and I'm like, well, I can, I've got these SSK checks that I need to deposit, so I'll do that.
But you can't because all the banks are closed.
But I can't because all the banks are. Yeah, I didn't realize that until I had left the house.
Oh,
so
pudding.
Yeah, it's been a brain dead kind
of day. I didn't
get
mail today because it was President's Day. That's a lot. That's the
it's
only
actually
thing
really nice because the dogs didn't go bananas because delivery man. I feel like Michael makes a game of just ordering random things, and so there's always somebody delivering something to our house, and the dogs go bananas every time.
No, as you should. Yeah. They're protecting you.
I really like the lightning of that. Like the color lightning of it.
Yeah, it's getting there.
I'm digging it.
I'm digging the fact that it will soon be half over.
You're very close to half, aren't you?
Yeah, I should be close to half. Well, at the end of this fall.
So knitting, would you like to go?
Sure. Well, I'm kind of in the middle of a row, but we can make it work.
I can go if you want.
Will you go?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I'm knitting 2 things. One you have seen before if you've watched the show in the past couple of weeks. This is a Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry.
You worked on that when we watched Wong Fu the other night.
Yes. Laura had never seen To Wong Fu.
I had not. Now it's on Netflix.
With Patrick Swayze and all of his drag loveliness.
Patrick Swayze.
And
Robin Williams, too.
Yeah. And
I almost had to come apart when I saw Robin Williams because I wasn't anticipating it.
Yeah. It was a short bit for him, but yeah. So, I'm on color 4. I switched this color. If you are very sensitive to words, cover your ears for a minute.
Oh.
This color is Knitter's Nightmare in the Douche Zeppelin colorway. So, that's my center color. And then next is Knitter's Nightmare again, and You're Friends with That Person I Hate. Sadie makes the best colors.
She does. She hasn't been dying all the time.
Yeah, Porter's been home, so.
Yeah.
So this is color number 5. I don't know that I'll actually make it to that color this week because I have travel. I'm going to
Are
Las
you
Vegas.
taking that with you to Vegas?
Yeah, well, because I might get it on the plane. I might get some time. I'll minimize it because I've got every color I've used so far in this bag.
Do you want to try my new cool backpack on the plane?
No, I've already got
could've
one.
brought
It's
it.
mostly packed, but thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm traveling to Vegas this week for an 8.5-hour training class, and my travel time in airports and on airplanes is 20 hours. So literally I am traveling twice as long as the actual training. But it's mandatory, so...
There's not much you can do.
Yeah. And I need to cast on a sock because I cannot find my turtle pearl sock that I was knitting on. Who knows where it is. So I'll
You should look at
cast on
the self-striping
for this month. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And cast something on. Because if I can knit in the class, I want it to be something I can just knit in
I
around.
think string theory's this month, and I brought you that string theory sport weight.
Ooh, sport weight. That would be even better. Yeah, maybe I'll look at that. So that's that, and then I'm knitting on another thing that I just started. So, Ravelry's like homepage. They do it like if you normally sign into Ravelry, it probably goes to whatever you normally default to, like your forums.
Yeah, your forums, but they have a homepage
yes.
that has blogs that are interesting.
And I wanted to show you guys. Let's see if this thing will let me add a window capture, and we'll make it the entire window. So I just wanted to show you guys this.
Yes. Oh, look at that. That's our show notes.
Let's edit. Make this big. Alright, yes.
Yay.
So I saw this on Ravelry. So first of all, this is the Pathways blanket by Frankie Brown.
Frankie Brown has awesome blanket colors.
Yeah.
Like patterns.
And this is a free pattern download.
A ton of them.
Yeah, Frankie Brown has got...
I like that one that's kind of... Eloise is knitting one.
Oh, she does all the 10-stitch ones?
Yeah.
Ah.
Sock scraps, but lots of other stuff
Little
too,
ornaments and stuff, yeah. She's got 400 plus designs. That's crazy.
Yeah, and everything's for like a donation.
Yeah.
So she asked that if you enjoy her patterns to donate to one of her causes.
So Ravelry featured this as part of like, I think it was a rainbow thing. And I just loved it. So each square is a little triangle of color with some solid, and then another little triangle.
Is that all
it's
seams?
all garter. Yes, all these are seams.
So are you going to crochet it together, or are you going to seam it together?
I'm not certain. I'm going to test out a couple of methods. She gives you several different options in there.
Because she's amazing.
Yeah. So, but I just loved this so much, this gradual color. So I decided I was just going to copy her completely. And she used Lion Brand's Pound of Love for the gray. I'm using a different because I don't particularly like the feel of the Pound of Love, but I am using Lion Brand Shawl in a Ball.
Oh, where did you find that at?
Let me switch back to video. So I found this at Michael's, I think.
You went to Joann's and you told me it wasn't there.
It wasn't at Joann's. And then I went to Michael's, yes, and it was at Michael's. So, where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. My brain is not great. So this is the one that I'm working on right now. They only take like 45 minutes to make each little square.
But how many are you going to have to make?
She made 100. And it gave her...
So you're investing like... Probably 100 hours altogether with the seaming.
Something like that, yeah. She doesn't give measurements, but I could figure it out. But
how big is each little square?
That's a good question. I've got several finished ones that I can measure. I've got 7 finished, I think. Yeah. So
you've been on a tear.
It starts with this
look
in
at
the
all
ball.
Those ends.
Yeah, it
That's
starts with
super
the dark
fun.
blue, and then it goes into this purpley. And then a green, and then it's back to the purple.
So I would say they're like 3x3.
God, I hope they're more than that. You have a tape measure? I usually have one up here. Oh, I'm so short I can't reach it. Alright, so let's see. I would say they're about 4.5 maybe.
You think? Yeah.
Actually,
that's not.
Oh, no,
I feel
sorry,
like
I said
that's
it in the
not
wrong
an
spot.
accurate measure.
5 inches.
Yeah.
So they're 5 inches each, so 5 times 10, that's 50 inches across. That's 4+ feet across. So I don't know. We'll see how sick of it I get and how quickly I get sick of it. But that's what I'm knitting on. I'm actually knitting them with the Likey needles.
I love my Likies.
I tried Laura's for, I can't remember. I needed them for something.
She in DPNs and she's at my house.
Yeah. And so I tried
and
these.
They come in 2 sets for the DPNs.
Yeah. So I really like they're wood, but I don't know. They don't like.
Have you tried the circulars?
I haven't. But I like these as, just a simple. I'm just using 2 DPNs to knit them because they're just short little stubby projects. So that's what I'm working on, and that's my entire show for the week.
Cute. I only have 2 things too. So the first thing that I'm working on is my blankets.
It's gotten so big.
Yeah, it's grown a little bit. I've gotten around 70.
Oh my god, the camera's going crazy because of all the colors.
I've gotten around 70 garter ridges done, so that's around 140 rows. And I need 480 total rows. So I'm not quite there yet.
You're getting there though.
Yeah. I'm hoping by the time that I get to the end of this, that I'm at least halfway through. Because this total, what I have in my hands, and this is 10 ounces. So I should be more than halfway through, but I think I'll be happy if I get halfway through. And I'd like to get halfway through by the end of the month. So, yeah, it's going well. I like it. It is pretty crazy, but that's okay. It's weird how there's that big brown section.
I like it. I think it's very, chaotic, but in a cool way.
Yeah, so this pattern is Lilly's scrap blanket. I did make some modifications in that I cast on less stitches because I didn't want a giant blanket.
Yeah.
I wanted something that was around 30 inches wide.
You didn't want to hate yourself?
Well, there's no way I could get something that was 45 by 60 done. I definitely wanted the 60, and this tucks around me. So I think it'll be perfect. So yeah. Lily's scrap blanket, I'm knitting it on size 6 needles, and I'm using hand spun from a patchwork kit that I spun from Hello Yarn. I have the first 10 ounces spun. The next 4 ounces or so, or 5 ounces, are what I'm spinning right now on my wheel, and then I'll probably fill another bobbin with a second patchwork blanket patchwork kit that Leslie got me. So yeah, it is going swimmingly. I'm trying to get 20 rows or 10 ridges done a day. I didn't get any done yesterday because I was working on my other thing that I have to show you. So, the other thing that I'm working on...
We had a 20-minute conversation about this before we started the show.
Because we can't leave things. I had to explain. Okay, this is why. Because I'm obsessed with this style pattern now. And it's all Laura Nelkin's fault. And so, today she told me that I could totally get an adult version done before I see her in a month. And I was like, yeah, I can. I have this blanket to finish. And she's like, I didn't mine in a weekend, Laura Nelkin. I am not you. Unfortunately.
Knitting is your job, Laura Nelkin.
It is. And being awesome, because she is pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, I dig her.
She said she's going to bring all of them to SSK.
Cool.
Yeah, so all the sweaters, so we'll get to play with them all. Or I could just knit them all before that.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's where I'm headed with this obsession. This is the Baby Novice jacket, and it is so cool, y'all. So you start... with a sleeve, you start knitting this stockinette tube, and then you...
But it's flat.
It's flat. And then you cast on for the body using a provisional cast on. I crocheted 4 times on this. And then you knit one front. And there's another provisional cast on too. I did 2 provisional cast ons, one on each side.
Yeah, one for the front, in front of the shoulder, and one for the back.
Yes.
On the back of the shoulder. And then the same on the other side.
Oh, for right here. That's where the provisional cast on was, on the other side of this garter panel. Anyway, so you knit the front half, and this had 2 little halves because it's hard to tell because I still have to do the I-cord, so that's why it's on the needles. But it's like a crossover, baby style. And then you cast on for this panel, and these stitches are live because these are like the shoulder stitches. You work this kind of as an attached panel on both sides. Kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a sock that you've like turned the heel. You're decreasing down on both sides for the gusset.
Yeah, but so how do
But
you...
you're joining it as you go. It's
So,
an applied...
But the stitch count doesn't change.
Not in the middle.
Okay.
It's applied, so you're attaching it on both sides. And then after that, you...
Oh, so at the point where you would normally do a decrease, that's when you're joining it with the body. So you don't actually reduce. Okay.
Yep. And then you pick up stitches on one half of the sleeve, and then you pick up those provisionally cast on this side, and you pick up stitches on the other half of the sleeve, and then provisionally cast on this side, and then you knit this garter and join it on both sides. It's amazing. And Lauren Elkin is so much better at math than I am, because she is amazing, because there's no way I could figure all this out. So there is kind of an adult version of this called the Novice Jacket. It doesn't have the crossover front, and it's out of a bulky, and I'm kind of obsessed, and this is out of a sport weight. So I really want to knit that. I want to knit it out of hand spun, but then I'd have to try to spin a bulky hand spun, and I'm not certain that I can make that work. But I came over to raid Leslie's stash to see if she had any bulky. She doesn't.
I have Erin, which I could make work for bulky, but Laura's such a loose knitter.
It would be very sleazy knitting.
Drapey.
To quote Elizabeth Summerin. So I just have to do the attached I-cord, and this is done. And I think this is going to... It's so pretty. It's like... I love my coworkers, but none of them would do this justice.
Yeah.
So, or understand how much work's in it. There are a lot of ends to weave in. There are like 6 on the edge of this one sleeve.
Yeah.
But it's totally seamless, so I'm not going to have to seam anything, which is kind of cool for the construction. But yeah, this is out of Quince & Company Chickadee, I think. Let's look. Yep, Chickadee. American-made wool. It's also not machine washable, so that also makes it kind of hard. In the lupine colorway, and I'm knitting it on size 3 needles, which is actually the needle that Laura calls for. I got gauge with the needle someone called for in a pattern.
Because she uses row gauge instead of stitch gauge.
Yes.
For this particular pattern.
Yep, that's what's more important. So yeah, I'm excited. So I need to decide what bulky yarn I need to buy for the adult version, so when I see her in Madison, I could be wearing it, because that would be kind of cool. I'm basically a Lauren Elkin fangirl. She's one of my favorite people, so.
I'm still thinking about how sleazy knitting is now going to be the title of this episode.
It's so true. And this is in my bags by Awesome Granny, which I think the shawl is going to move into, because it's so big, when, or the shawl, the blanket is going to move into eventually, because it's a big bag and it's outgrown its little tiny bag that I had it in last week, and I'm on ball 2, so it needs to be moving quickly. Anyway, that's it for me for knitting, and I have no spinning, and I have no finished objects.
You having no spinning, this has got to be the first time in a long time.
I was spinning on the wheel, but it's not
right. Nothing for you
spinning
to show.
No,
like even on a bobbin, that's unusual. You usually, but you've been really pushing yourself on this.
So I had to take a break. I'm making sure that I'm taking breaks after every hour, because my wrists are starting to get into that, like, hey, we hate you.
Yeah, because blankets have so much added weight on them.
Well, just, I've been knitting for 3 hours straight a day on it. So my wrists are not used to working on it for 3 hours straight. So, anyway, that's it for me. Do you have any other content for this podcast this week? I've been reading, though. I've been obsessed with reading R.J. Blaine, who is the person who writes the Llama book. Remember?
The male romance one?
No, it's not a male romance. It's, but it is like a romance. It was female-male, where the girl gets turned into the llama, the FBI agent.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And, he has to rescue her. So I read that whole series, and then she's got a couple other series that I've just been really absorbing and devouring. Most of them are werewolf based. So yeah.
Laura's a fan of the paranormal.
I think if you like Kate Daniels, these are a little bit more convoluted and not quite as clever, but I think they'd be a good choice. I would download a sample and see what you think.
Anything else?
No, I've been listening still to Wild Magic. I actually am on the second one now, which is Woof something. That's it for me. I am super boring this week.
Hey, I'm good because I got stuff to do for...
you got to pack and
getting
stuff.
Ready to go
What
out
have
of
you
town,
been reading, though?
So I tried to read Caraval.
I just ordered that from my library.
Yeah, I read the first couple chapters because I always download a sample. If it's a paid-for book, I always download a sample first, which I love, that feature. It has kept me from buying several books, but it has also enabled me into buying things I wouldn't have otherwise.
That's like every RJ Blaine. I'm downloading samples, and I'm like, yeah, I need this.
So the first couple of chapters were interesting, and so I paid $10 for it.
Oh.
And I am... Like, by the time I got to about 30% of the book, I was like, I don't know if I care enough to finish this.
It's a YA, right?
It is a YA,
yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily strike it out for me. Some YAs are perfectly interesting.
So it's a girl who's, like, on this planet, right?
This island.
And the only way to get off is...
to be married off, essentially.
And the carnival comes every 10 years or every once in a
while?
while?
It's once a year, but it's in a different place every year. It's kind of like, I think that they took the idea of the night circus and seriously watered it down and added a lot of teen angst into it. I'm not giving this book a good review, I'm only 55% into it, and
other people have given it good reviews.
Right, other people loved it, and that was part of the reason why I thought, okay, well, I'll buy it and see. And I can't finish it. I just don't care.
It's okay to get rid of books if you don't like them.
It feels so, the typical fiction is, okay, if it's considered a romance in any way, the couple meet, they are, they hate each other or they're really into each other, some misunderstanding happens, and then they come to terms with whatever, right? Well, this feels like that there's some misunderstanding loops.
From the get-go,
it's just like a broken record, and it makes me crazy.
That's pretty much how the teenage brain works, though.
Well, I don't need to immerse myself in it. So I gave up on that, and now I'm reading, it's another YA, it's called Roar. It's the Stormheart series, about, it's sort of fantasy, and the concept in this world is that people gain power by taking the power of a storm in the form of a gem. Somehow they transfer the power of the storm into a gem. I don't know. I'm only like 10% into it, so... That's what I'm reading. As far as listening to, I listened to the second K.F. Breen Raised in Fire book this week, and also listened to Rhapsodic, which is the first in the Bargainer series, which I'd already read before, and I liked it okay, so I listened to it as well.
What are you going to listen to on your trip?
I downloaded all kinds of stuff.
Did you download A Wrinkle in Time?
I did.
Yes, you should listen to that.
So what's funny is Michael has, I added him on my Audible, like I signed in on his phone so he could download the stuff that I've purchased. And
Michael's not a big fiction person.
He doesn't read fiction in general. He did listen to 14 and liked it, and he's listened to some Star Trek fiction because he's a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
But in general, he prefers historical biographies or like documentary style things.
Has he listened to Ready Player One yet?
He did, and he liked that one okay, but he has no interest in going to see a movie, whereas I'm like, I can't wait. But he has decided, I think he bought 6 credits on my account because he just kept downloading like the great histories of different countries. He's downloaded a thing on Chernobyl. He's downloaded Stephen Hawking's oh God,
the universe thing.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called because I'm a terrible person.
Did he download your boyfriend's
Neil
new
deGrasse
book?
Tyson's? I don't know if he's even seen it.
You're not encouraging him now.
Because now he's eating up all my money. He needs
to listen to that other stuff first.
But I downloaded Audible right now is having a sale where the first book in a ton of series
I need to look at that.
$4.95. So it's funny because, and you can sort it by like fantasy or science fiction or whatever. And in the fantasy and science fiction, I swear I have almost half of the ones because it'll tell you whether or not you already own it.
Yeah.
So, but I downloaded A Wrinkle in Time, a couple of the Octavia Butlers that I've read but not listened to. And a couple of science fiction ones. I don't really care for military science fiction too much, but there were a couple that looked moderately interesting. So, yeah, I downloaded that stuff. Hopefully it'll get me through my... I tend to be very short
Grumpy?
attention span when I travel. So, like, even if I'm really into a book, I kind of get sick of it.
Did you see how she answered with short attention span and I answered with grumpy?
I was just moving past that. I am grumpy when I travel, though. I had Laura bring me her Beats headphones. Just in case.
Headphones, in case her other headphones
in case my other ones die. Because if I had to actually interact with other people on the plane, it would be a bad day for everybody involved.
But people don't usually sit next to you on Southwest flights, so you're good.
Here's hoping. They're all daytime flights, though. They're not. None of them are like super early, so we shall see.
Although the super early ones I've been on lately have been packed to the gills.
See, I prefer to go early only because I know that they probably will leave on time.
Yeah.
Probably, if they're the first flights of the day.
I'm super worried about my Madison flight, and now all my admins that next Monday, so I had to take like the last flight that I could get out of Madison, which was like 6:30, and my layover in DFW is like 20 minutes.
And DFW is the size of a small country. It is gigantic.
So I'm a little concerned about luggage, which is why I bought a new backpack. Also, I think I'm flying American, is doing this thing where like if you buy the cheaper ticket, you don't get a carry-on for the overhead compartment. So anyway, I'm still checking a bag, but at least it's on my way back. And if it gets lost, eventually it should turn up in the Memphis airport.
Yeah.
At least it won't be there when I have all my class supplies, but I'm taking all my class supplies in this backpack I got from eBags that like opens like luggage, which is really, really interesting. But
it's designed for travel.
Oh, anyway, so yeah, it is. So and that's what my parents used to go to Ireland. My boss and all of the admins that day are going to Atlanta to the Ron Clark Academy, which has a slide in it. Like, that's one of their... Like, it's a really cool... Ron Clark's, like, this very innovative teacher. He had that movie that the guy from Friends, Matthew whatever, starred in. Who?
Matthew Broderick?
No, the guy from Friends. Chandler Bing.
That's not his real name.
I know. I don't know. Is it Matthew Perry? Is that his real name?
Maybe. I don't know.
Now people are yelling at us. Anyway, he starred in a movie about him. I think it's Matthew Perry.
I think Joey is something LeBlanc. Courtney Cox.
Oh, that's Matt LeBlanc, right?
I think it's something LeBlanc.
I don't know.
Phoebe, I can't remember her real name.
Lisa something.
Kudrow.
Yeah. Between the two of us, we have half a working brain of what happened in the 90s.
What's Ross's name?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Anyway, so Chandler Bing from Friends was in a movie about him, and he did some really innovative things in, like, he's got, like, a charter school type thing, and he's published a bunch of books. So they're going to...
Do they take kids there, or...?
Yeah, it's a charter school, so they take inner-city kids.
No, I mean, your...
Oh, they don't take... No, like, kids can't visit for the day, but adults can go and see what would work. Like, they do teacher training type stuff.
I see.
And what works for them. So they're there, so I told... Chad, who's stepping in as admin, I was like, I might not be here that Monday if my flight, like, if I don't make that flight. So we'll see, because I think it's the last flight to Memphis. I might end up at DFW airport overnight.
Gosh, if only we had a show where we knew people who lived in different parts of the country.
whatchamacallit, Dalai Lama
Dalai
lives
Lama,
there.
yeah.
I'm sure I'll make the flight. It just was like,
luggage
that was
probably
the last.
won't, but...
Yeah, I don't think my luggage will. I'm okay with that, because it'll come later. The next day, probably. Oh, luggage, but like all my
important stuff
I'm carrying on in this cool backpack that I got.
Yeah. So the Fairmount Bag Kickstarter is still going on. I think it goes on till the end of the month. I will talk about it one more time. Probably, I'm gonna take the bag with me to Vegas. You. So I'll let you know how it travels.
Yeah.
And then you have some.
I have a giveaway for a pen. I do. So, let me get 2 more stitches.
Nope, not
3
allowed.
More stitches. 4 more stitches.
Nope, the number keeps going up.
5 more stitches.
The number's supposed to go down.
But it's not. So, a couple months ago, like in June.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like it was more than that.
I got contacted by one of our viewers and her husband. This is his website. It's an Etsy site, and it's linked to in the show notes. He was doing some cool things with pens where he was taking yarn and putting them in resin and creating pens out of them, and she asked if they could have some of my hand spun to make pens out of, which I thought was a super cool idea. So I sent them like a little bag of bits and bobs, and I have one to give away and one that's staying with me. I think I'm keeping this one. It's so hard to decide. I'm keeping this one. So this is my hand spun on the inside. Get super close. And there's like a glitter resin on the outside, and he has these for sale in his shop too, which is linked in the show notes. It's Clark's Handicrafts, and this is going to be the one. And this is the same hand spun in different segments and also with different backgrounds. So this is like a gray and red one. So I thought that was super cool because it's a great way to
showcase
bits and bobs of leftover hand spun. Or if you had some like super special hand spun that was like out of a pet that passed, say, or whatever else, that could be a cool way to do a little thing as well. And they do customs as well, so I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. So what is the prompt to enter?
I don't know. I think she told me when I need to look up.
Okay, so we'll put.
I can't remember.
Laura is responsible for putting the giveaway thread up this week. I've set it on camera.
Anyway, so
she loves me, really.
I just don't have Ravelry access at work. It makes things complicated, except on my phone. But anyway, so we'll be giving away one of these cool pens. And that is Clark's Handicrafts, and you can get like stylus tips, and he's got some cool like wooden seam rippers too that I was looking at earlier, and I thought you might like.
Yeah, please don't get me those. I have like 3
nice
custom made by different like woodworkers.
Seam rippers.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Though
it started with Lori of Deerfield.
Oh yeah,
and I've gotten a couple more. I think I got one from John D once. And
just gotta support John D.
Yeah.
John D's like one of our local
woodworkers.
He's probably in his 80s.
At least. And he makes some absolutely breathtaking pieces.
But we always have to support him.
Because he will talk smack to you while you're in his booth.
Yeah, you will. And his daughter is a master weaver and does some really cool things with the Memphis Weaving Guild. She's teaching I was looking at folk school.
John C. Campbell?
Yeah, John C. Campbell, and Angela's teaching there.
Oh, that's awesome.
In a couple weeks. I think she's taught there before, too. So, I thought that was pretty cool. Maggie Casey's teaching the same time as SSK.
Yeah, because that's why she couldn't come back, and she told us that a couple of years, maybe not a couple of years ago, maybe about a year ago, because people loved her so much. We knew we
want to get her back.
So we had to get her in her schedule like 2 years in advance.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, she's worth it.
She's very popular, that Maggie Casey.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
So it's a short show this week. But
sorry.
Some people like that. Like Holly said, she likes it when they're shorter. So she's got like
because she has to spend time with us regardless.
Well, yeah, and she's probably got like 10 to get through. So, Yeah, that's it. So you guys have a lovely week. And Laura's putting up the giveaway thread, so don't yell at me, yell at her. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.